Welcome everyone to the weekly Grape Finance AMA. Today, as always, we have LB. Welcome, LB.
Hey guys, good to be here. Bit of a crazy week.
Most definitely. And I'm here to host and ask the questions. I also really see a lot of familiar names. And well, Eric just added himself. So that's also good. And I think we should just go to the questions. But first, LB, yeah, it has been a crazy week. How have you experienced it?
Not much sleep, I guess. A lot of work, but that's good. That's what you have to do, really. It's been really exciting seeing a lot of I guess new people coming in, and the OGs sort of being rewarded for their holding for long term. It's good to see the NFTs go out, and then the nodes launch. There's been quite a few things in this 1 week. There's been quite a few weeks leading up to this 1 week as well. So it's good to have it, I guess, come to fruition.
Most definitely. I forgot to put a mention to everyone that the AMA has just started. Maybe I should do that now. Everyone, AMA has started. So now, okay. Yeah, it has been a beautiful week though. We sold out all of the NFTs in 35 minutes.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, that's
really
pretty.
good.
That's pretty good. And we sort of didn't really. I mean, we did a little bit of marketing for it, but not really that much. We sort of. It was like a week before we kind of like announced it that it's going to be this day. In other words, it means that the community was really the ones behind it, rather than I guess a new influx of like NFT specific people, whatever. Well, of course, we got a few different people from nodes and NFT community as well, but because we didn't like do a huge marketing campaign for it, obviously means that the actual community was really behind it, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's I say the most important thing to have, right? Have the community
Yeah.
behind it, have the community pushing it and everything. I'm also really happy about that. And I see that we do have a lot of influx. I'm not sure whether they came with the NFTs or with the nodes, but they came. So we have a
Yeah.
lot of new people, which makes it interesting and exciting in the chat. Also, big welcome to everyone new. Glad to have you here.
Yeah.
And be sure to be talking to the people who've been in Grape for a long time already, because they know how things go around here, and yeah, they will definitely welcome you. At least I hope that. Let's move on to the questions. Starting in the AMA Weekly Questions chat, we start with A and B. And that was still at the 5th of April, so before all of the exciting stuff happened. Has there been any discussion about partnering with another Tomb Fork who has an other compounder where Grape Finance could get a portion of the fees generated on the LP we would stake with them? I'm not really sure what they mean.
I'm assuming they mean the redemption thing that I guess 2ohm has. I'm pretty sure it's 2ohm, 3ohm's app themselves, or it's partnered with Devil Finance, which I think they own as well. Um, I'm I think that's what he means. Because I don't really know of any. I know Matrix does LP, does auto compounding, where you can get the fees, but I'm pretty sure they're on Phantom. With Redemption, I'm not sure if they're open to other partners. I think they just launched like very recently. We haven't been in touch with them, but um, something like that would be cool, I guess. As a sort of like a revenue generation generator for the DAO. Something to look into. It's something I'll keep my eyes on. Like I'm looking at the redemption and how it's going to go with 2 ohm, 3 ohm. So yeah, something to keep a lookout for, I guess.
Yeah, just having a look. I've also asked them to clarify their question, but they didn't do so. So I think we'll move on to the next question, which is also from A and B. Is the team looking into any ways to actually burn Grape or use Grape in a way that will be burned or lost if used? And what does the Treasury currently hold? Has the Treasury made any investments? Is the Treasury earning Grape on the wine it holds? A lot of questions there.
Yeah, well, we do have. I mean, I guess the burn mechanism, simple one, is the raffle. I guess it's flexible in what we can do. We can burn it, which we started originally, and now we turn it more into protocol own liquidity. The thing with burns is you want, if you just burn the token, like it doesn't really do anything. You like it's a half job. You want you know with the burn, it works really well below the peg if you also use it like as the LP, for instance. Say with the raffle, the DAO gets protocol liquidity, the LP, and then below peg, it can then split the LP, buy back Grape with the MIM side of the LP, and then burn the whole lot of that. So you're getting a double effect. Essentially, you're getting well, maybe triple it, because you're lowering the liquidity in the pool, first of all, because you're splitting the LP, so that the price impact can be higher. Then you're buying Grape directly off the market with the MIM side to push the price up, and then you're also burning the Grape as well to decrease the supply. So that's like a really good mechanism that we essentially use below the peg, and something as well that we're using with these nodes right now when we're above TWAP. The Treasury cut for that is now sent to the DAO. Portion of that is sold. The portion of the Grape is sold, and some of it's added to the LP. Some of it's added to other investments, so that there can be revenue generation for the DAO, and also it can own its own LPs, which then below peg it can use to like buy back and burn. So yeah, I mean, I guess we do already have sort of these mechanisms in place. Because we do want to actually use Grape as a stable coin, we don't want to burn it too much, especially when the TWAP is so high, because we do want the supply to increase. In other words, because you can't have a stable coin with 700,000 supply of it. Doesn't really make sense. You need millions of supply of a stable coin for it to actually be used as a stable coin. I guess in terms of investments, right now, obviously the Treasury holds a lot of AVAX from the sale, the NFT sale, and MIM stables. Obviously it owns Grape and Wine, and some LPs for the protocol. So mainly the investments right now are protocol specific, like our protocol specific, and then stables and AVAX. But we're looking to do some, now that we actually have a reasonable amount of funds from the sale as well. We can invest a significant portion of that into LPs. Thinking AVAX MIM LP, or AVAX stable LP, just to generate some yield on the side. That's sort of like more a blue chip safer investment that we can just sit and generate some revenue on the side. But we'll generally put those to a vote on the snapshot thing.
Awesome. Their question also entailed, what does the Treasury currently hold? Is there a place where people can find the Treasury or just have a look at it?
Yeah, I think Taz linked that, the DAO wallet. It's ends in 44E1. That's the DAO wallet. So you can look at that in DBank. That has, should be able to, like, we're a Grape and Wine on there, so we'll show you.
Yeah.
it's holding a lot of grapes, reasonable amount of wine, some MIM, obviously AVAX. And there's a couple coins that are in there mainly from testing, to be honest. Like H shares and Fox, where I used to I guess test the things that I develop with them.
Yeah, it might be good to just have that address somewhere. Maybe we can look into that.
It's in the docs, but maybe we
Oh yeah,
make
we
it more
could.
clear.
I'm sorry, I hadn't even seen it in the docs, but yeah, well, since it's in the docs, people can find it there, right? If you really want to see it, it's there.
Yeah, it's on the contracts page.
Oh, awesome. Good then. Then we're good on that. Then there's a lot of answering questions, I'd say. And then here we go to DGen Crypto asking, any thought of removing Grape single stake now that the Grape nodes are live? The daily APR of a node is higher than the single stake, and removing could allow for greater wine distribution to other LPs. Well, first of all, DGen Crypto, I think this suggestion was good enough for us to immediately discuss it, and we have. And now, LB, what was our answer?
Yeah, well, we are lowering the Grape single stake. I think it may be good to, I guess, keep it as a backup for people's rewards in the nodes with less than 50 Grape. You can then park that Grape in the single stake to earn some wine in the meantime. And same as in the winery, if you earn sort of less than 50 Grape, you can park that in the single stake as well to earn some wine until you get enough, I guess, to compound back into the nodes. So I think it's I guess it's good to keep, but we will be lowering. I mean, I think it's hard to keep on top of it because the wine price has gone up a little bit, so it's kind of like increased the APRs there. But I am lowering the Grape single stake steadily over time to sort of incentivize people to either add that Grape to the LP itself or to the nodes.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm sorry, I was finding my way within the questions. Wait, what? Oh, there. And then there's Heipa. I really like this idea. I'm not sure if we should do it. I don't think we should do it, but it's a fun idea. And that's also how they start. It's like fun thought, but not relevant to
Yeah.
anything really. Would a double peg situation ever be possible for Tomb Forks? Yeah, everything is possible, man. Picture Grape still pegged to MIM, but we also peg wine to AVAX and then create a new share token, Brandy, and then staking Brandy prints wine, staking wine prints Grape, but now the vineyard rewards with Brandy wine. LP thoughts?
It's like a little bit to wrap your head around. You have to like read it a couple times, I guess. It's kind of like, I guess yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. I don't know how well it would work like over the long term, but how everything kind of in DeFi is an experiment anyway, which is good. You want to experiment, you want to push the boundaries, so to say.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool, like little experiment to try out. I don't think we'll do it with the Grape platform, but something to like to look out for, I guess. Something to try.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe at some point. All right, then there was a whole interesting discussion with Faris, and this consolidated into 3 questions, which he then very kindly put in the 1, 2, 3. So we'll go to that. First, how are the Grape nodes, the Grape node rewards calculated? Like it goes in between 1.5% to 3%. But how is the exact amount calculated? And I honestly couldn't answer him because the nodes are in Grape and they also reward in Grape. So
Yeah.
I also didn't really understand why there was a difference. So please elaborate on that, LP.
Well, there's a figure that you can set on the contract as well, which is called the drip rate, that you can set. It's just a number that then determines, the APR figure. But the APR itself is determined by the pool balance. So the balance of the entire node pool in Grape, and then multiplied by the allocation points. So each node is essentially one allocation point. So, in other words, we could add in other nodes that have higher allocation points, different tiers. That's something to think down the line. But I guess it makes it simple initially to have the APR being calculated by the pool balance of all the Grape in the reward pool, multiplied by the allocation points, and then divided by that drip rate that you set. So it slowly drops, as I guess it would increase as more nodes are created, and slowly drop as less nodes are created. So it's kind of like working together, kind of make it a little bit more sustainable just by itself. But obviously, we can change the drip rate itself to kind of forcefully increase or forcefully lower the APR as well. So that's something I manage on the side. I haven't changed the drip rate since the beginning. So this has just been more like initial node creation was obviously very high because we just launched the product. So obviously a lot of people went straight in, and now people compounding is obviously less than the initial day that it launched. So the APR slowly drops, but we can change that drip rate as well, which I will, I guess, kind of taper rewards as we go along.
So normally when you're working with a pool, it is the bigger the pool, the lower the APR, right? That's usual. And now you're saying that with this one, it's the other way around. Uh, could you please clarify how that works exactly? Like, why is it the other way around?
Well, it's to do with the amount of nodes being created ongoing. So you have, I mean, it's still the pool balance multiplied by the allocation points in the pool, and then divided by the the drip rate essentially. So it just works in a way to make sure that the balance of the pool can even pay out the nodes, in other words. Whereas usually in the farms you have a set amount of rewards going out per day, like a set amount of shares going to the nodes, going to the farms per day, and an increase in the TVL. Those rewards have to be spread out because they're fixed. They have to be spread out across the same TVL.
Yeah, and these aren't fixed.
Yeah.
These increase whenever a new node is added.
Yes.
All right, good. Then with that, then comes the second question of Faris, and if we as investors, and I think he's speaking about his personal group there, like if we as investors make 500 notes and compound them every day for 2 months, on the third month we'll have around 2,200 or plus notes, and daily rewards would be roughly 3,000 Grape. How will your liquidity sustain the price if we start selling every day?
Well, I mean,
I think we
the
won't.
obviously that's a lot of grape to be selling. But we also have to look at the fact that the 2.5%, 2.6%, the APR will taper down. So you're not going to be getting 3% all the time forever, because that's not really sustainable. So we need to, like, I guess, taper that down over time. And we can change it up as well if need be, to incentivize more node creation. But in other words, it's kind of like, that's more like an estimate. If you compound to 2,200 nodes, that's obviously really good for the reward pool itself. It's good for the in that time from now till then, you are essentially not selling any Grape, which means that the rest of the people that want to buy nodes have to go and buy off the market itself. So, in other words, that would be locking up the supply, increasing the price, and as we're inflating through the boardroom or through the winery as well, that also increases the supply, which then therefore increases technically the liquidity of the pool because the price of the Grape is increasing. And as we add, obviously, we want to keep the liquidity increased. We want to increase the liquidity, so to say, as well, because more liquidity means more stability, essentially. So that's why we're going to be doing the LP nodes as well, to incentivize LP creation. And the DAO is obviously adding a portion, its treasury cut as well, to the LP as well, to increase that liquidity in the pool as well. But I guess to answer your question, if you start selling 3,000 Grape a day, well, the whole thing works similar to the Toonfork protocol in that you need to, I guess, if you want your rewards to last longer term, you need to stick to like everybody needs to stick to a strategy that's beneficial for the health of the protocol. It's the same in the Toonfork sector. If you you can compound all your rewards until a point where you're getting ridiculous daily rewards in the farms, and then just start selling all those daily rewards, which I mean you can definitely do, but then you're essentially hurting your own investment because you're essentially making it so that you're dumping on yourself because you also own the tokens. If you want the rewards to continue to last longer, that's why we recommend, sensible, healthy profit taking over time, so that, you're getting the profit over time, but you're also keeping the protocol running to the point where you can continue to make profit over time. If you just start dumping all your rewards in one go, well then, you're limiting how long you can make profit for, essentially. Like you're only hurting yourself, really.
Yeah. And I think what I also answered to him at that point is, well, if we would look in 3 months, then we would be ahead 3 months, and that means we'd be just in Q3, and that should mean that we have done everything in the roadmap that is Q2, and that would mean also including the whole lending and borrowing stuff. So if we actually succeed
exactly.
in doing our roadmap, which we intend to, that means that by then you will have new places to go with that Grape. Like you can maybe borrow against it, or do some have new utility except from just selling it. So essentially, for those 3 months, you will just be compounding and getting higher and higher amounts. So that when there's new utility, you actually have some really good things to do with it that are not just selling it. So there's actually, yeah, it's just, in essence, if everyone just starts selling, then we're dead. This is a whole community thing. Like that shouldn't happen. But luckily, people aren't doing that, and so that we have time to create more utility, and that's how we all, get where we want to be. I think I've said that correctly, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like it's I guess you could say it's a social experiment in a way, in that everybody works together. That's why we focus so much on the strategies and education. Everybody works together. You take profits ongoing, and you keep the whole thing going. In other words, you work for yourself, you work for everyone else, and it's a synergy of game theory, so to say.
Yeah, in the most positive sense possible, because we're all, yeah, going for the best for the grip. Anyway, third one, third of his questions was, when will you guys be listing grape and wine in DAX? I think what he originally asked, because this is a rephrase, like I can't really find any of you in different DEXs and also different locations actually. So when will we be listing more broadly? I think is the question mostly.
Yeah. Well, we're just on Trader Joe mainly right now because that's where we can incentivize the LPs for the time being. The thing is, we want if we have to if we which is the goal, we want to make add liquidity on multiple chains. But in order to do that, we obviously like you need to incentivize that LP creation. Either the DAO owns all the LP so that you don't need to incentivize it, or you have to incentivize that LP adding. So that's how we do in the vineyard right now. Is you get wine rewards for adding LPs, adding liquidity to the pool on Trader Joe. And it's what we've done on with Dibs as well on Binance or BSC. Is that you can earn D shares with Grape BNB LP. So you can go to Pancake Swap, add your Grape pair it with BNB and get an LP, and then go to Dibs Money and stake for D shares. So it's we have to that's how you have to incentivize the LP liquidity buildup. You have to incentivize it somehow. So in other words, we'll probably do something like that with another partner on Phantom, where we work together to incentivize LP creation there. The problem is we can't spread ourselves too thin too quick, because it obviously means, well, then, the liquidity is spread way too thin, which means that, even a smaller sell or a smaller buy will have a big impact on the price, which is obviously something you don't want, especially if you're a stable coin. So we do need to increase the supply of Grape as the protocol itself will be doing, with the winery expansion every epoch. And I guess, I've kind of looked into like doing, listing on centralized exchanges, but again, that's like a similar issue. You obviously have to give them liquidity to be able to buy and sell on the exchange. And if you don't give them enough, well, then the price impact is too high, and then it's not really useful. So we want to really build what we have right now first on, and plus I prefer decentralized exchanges rather than any sort of like centralized exchanges. Usually they have like some ridiculous listing fee as well, stuff like that. And we're sort of like we're a DeFi app. We kind of want to until we get like really big, and then it makes sense to go on a centralized exchange. Or for the time being, we want to expand, on Trader Joe is the main platform. Then we've got Pancake Swap on Binance, working with partners there to incentivize liquidity, and then same on Phantom, whether it be Spooky, Spirit Swap, whatever, to incentivize LPs there with some partners as well. So we have to spread slowly to make sure that we don't spread ourselves too thin. Otherwise, it's like no one will use the pool either. If the price impact's too high, no one will use it.
Yeah, I think that answers that perfectly. And now, then there's Felix. The first say that we have earned a lot of trust from him at this point. Well, thank you, Felix. Then wants to ask, what future possibilities of the project are you guys most excited by? And are there any crypto projects you've been inspired by recently? Well, I'll first go for myself because I think my list is smaller. I am really excited by the future of lending and borrowing because I think that is going to be an awesome thing. And as such, it stands in line that I am most inspired personally by the Alchemix protocol, which was actually put up by someone in one of the AMAs. I was interested in the lending and borrowing even before I saw the Alchemix protocol, but then I read the Alchemix protocol and I thought, well, that's bloody brilliant, and we should have something that is similar, not the same, definitely, but similar. So that's for me. LB, what's your list?
Yeah, I really do like Alchemix as well. I've used them like, even when they launched, like I think a year or two ago. But the problem is they're on Ethereum. It's
Yeah.
kind of too expensive with the gas, but I really like that idea. And obviously the lending and borrowing is kind of like the cornerstone of Grape's protocol, so to say. It's the first actual feature set of where you can use Grape in a more like actual sustainable way than anything else. So that's kind of the thing I'm looking forward to, obviously the most in coming up most soon. But I'm really looking forward to how we can build off that, build DeFi products for lending and borrowing, leveraging, self-repaying loans, which is the Alchemix sort of style, sort of yield-bearing products, so to say, that are, sustainable in a way that obviously also have like a real world use case. Because, I personally use lending and borrowing often to not have to sell my coins. I have Phantom, AVAX, whatever, Bitcoin. I don't want to sell them, but I need some funds in the real world, so I post those tokens as collateral, and then can take out a stable coin and send it to my bank account to have actual funds that technically I've taken a loan out without having to go through a bank at all, and actually have, can actually earn a yield on that as well at the same time, can capture the upside of those tokens as well, and not have to pay capital gains tax. Like I think that's like a fantastic real world use case, and that's something that I'm really excited to sort of streamline and make, I guess, easy for users as well. I guess as well, like I'm really excited by sort of all the DeFi products we can put together to this lending and borrowing system. And obviously we're going to be working on LC as well, liquid capital. There'll be something really cool that we can build there with supporting different protocols in terms of it'll be sort of kind of a bit focused towards, I guess, seniorage protocols, because they suffer quite easily with the peg situation, but obviously open to any protocol really, to sort of support them in a way that with direct support from the Treasury, but also support their community with another yield bearing opportunity as well. And there's a lot of exciting things we can do with that going forward as well. So yeah, couple things.
Definitely. And yeah, on liquid capital, that launch is just going to be awesome. Using so many partners, it's going to be so huge. It's
Yeah.
really beautiful. All right. Okay, Deforator. He asks, can you please address the concerns held by some members of the community regarding you potentially being an emperor penguin living in Antarctica? We're not discussing that, Deforator. This is secret knowledge. And the second one, I'm not even going to read that. Let's see. Today, Phrase asks, where does the revenue from the 2.6-ish% daily Grape nodes come to give out to users come from? Not sure if that makes any sense. What? Well, I managed to read it. What is the team's long term plans 5+ years from now? Oh, wow, that's a long time away. Is the idea to keep coming on with new things to provide, and will Grape Finance and Treasury keep expanding? Thank you. Wow, that's a lot to go on. LB, enjoy.
Yeah, well, I get, the node's rewards obviously come from the node pool, which comes from node creation. So there's obviously, that's like the primary use of, that's where the primary rewards from nodes come. So that's why it is important to have, continual node creation. In other words, to like, obviously it's similar to the tomb fork system in that if you don't continually compound at least some of your rewards, then the system doesn't work. In other words, if everybody just sells, well, then the system doesn't work. That's the same thing as the tomb fork system. So you need consistent. Obviously, people take profits, healthy profits. That's like the whole purpose of the thing, really. But still compound to keep the system functioning. In other words, but obviously as well, there is the DAO because we're a seniorage protocol as well. We're not a node protocol, so to say. We're when above TWAP, the DAO gets 15% of the expansion every epoch, which then can be filtered back to the node pool, to keep to top up the rewards essentially. And as well, there's still that 10% cut of each node that goes to the DAO as well, which then is, depending on the TWAP, is, sold if it's really high above TWAP, portions added to the LP, which then can be used as a reserve below TWAP to support the protocol. And then a portion is, invested in other protocols to then generate a non-protocol specific yield, which then comes back to help the protocol directly in any way, like if to directly supplement that node pool if needed, to then I guess support the peg if needed as well. So it's kind of like it's another way to it's technically another revenue generation product to support the protocol itself. In other words, I guess 5+ years in DeFi. I don't think DeFi has even been around for 5 years, to be honest. I remember 2017 was like the ICO craze, which I guess you could say like was the start of the whole thing. I guess maybe 2016 you had 2016 was when Ethereum came out. So like who knows what the industry will look like in 5 years time, but I think it will kind of the industry will kind of get a bit more mature, so to say. I'm expecting a lot more, I guess, regulations to come out. I'm expecting a lot more governments to kind of get involved in this space. Whether or not that's good or not, I don't know. That's just what I see, because it's kind of like it's growing so rapidly.
Yeah.
That the governments are not going to just shy away from it. But in saying that, the network is still open and permissionless. Anyone can write code and deploy it to the chain, which means that anyone can use. Like the UI is, not necessary to use the actual contracts. You don't need the UI. It just makes it easier. But in terms of where I see us in like 5 years, obviously I want to be like a DeFi hub, if that's still even legal in 5 years. But we'll focus on this year first and like actually work on the lending and borrowing, work on adding products to that, like leveraging and self-repaying loans, and sort of bridging the gap, I guess, between DeFi and then the real world. Like I just mentioned before, loans that you then take out your actual money to the real world to then use, things like that. Things like actually bridging that gap. It is difficult to bridge that gap because it's not difficult technical wise, it's difficult regulation wise is the problem. You need when you go from crypto to USD US currency, or like fiat currency, you obviously need to abide by the regulations of that. You need to then you need to have actual US dollars to go from from the bank account to bank account. It's a totally different system. You need KYC, obviously. So that's kind of the issue that makes it difficult and makes it like clunky, so to say, at this time. But something to work on, and that's something that I guess one of our goals is, uh, make it a bit more streamlined. Um,
Yeah.
just so because you know, want people to actually use the DeFi protocols as a bank account, essentially, rather than a bank, because banks have been ripping people off for too long. So we don't really need them, to be honest.
Exactly.
I guess
Exactly. It was. Oh, sorry. I did.
oh no, I was just going like the last bit. Well, the Great Finance Treasury, you'd hope would keep expanding. That's kind of like the goal of it. You'd obviously there are expenses, like marketing is pretty expensive in this industry, and you need to pay for development and stuff like that, and there's obviously expenses, but like I guess any sort of business, you'd want the treasury to keep expanding. So you want to have that, you want to invest it in, assets that appreciate, assets that are, longer term assets, and yield bearing opportunities as well. So that you're always in the green, essentially.
Yeah, clearly. Um, I think here it would be good to mention that I think one of the first times I directly spoke to you, or maybe even the first time, somewhere in January, um, you already mentioned that your long-term view with Grape Finance was to maybe, if it works out, to become a credit card company. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think that's still a beautiful vision, right? It might be difficult and clanky to get towards that, but if we just keep such a thing as a beautiful vision, then with Grape Finance itself, we would definitely go towards something really good. But that said, for me personally, for example, I got into Grape Finance, and that was kind of my first start at looking at things from a developer perspective, sort of. I mean, I'm a community manager. I'm not a coder or anything, but then you start thinking of it like, okay, but what do the protocols actually want? Like, not what does the investor want, but what do protocols actually want? And you start talking with a lot of people from different protocols, who are also trying to manage everything. And what you then see is that we encounter issues. Like, for example, we encounter inflation, deflation issues, and
Mm.
there are a whole lot of opinions on how to solve stuff like that. And the funny thing is that a lot of people in the DeFi space are really, really creative. So when we just have to tackle a really big problem with a lot of really creative people, at some point there's gonna come up something really beautiful, and it's just interesting to see how everyone is gonna tackle these issues and is gonna try to work with it as best they can, and then at some point something new comes up which works really well, or a few things come up that work really well, and then everyone will suddenly start moving that way a bit more.
Mm.
I think that's the way it goes. So if you're saying like where will we be going in 5 years? Um, I think we'll have encountered a a few more of those problems, and
Mm.
there'll have been a lot of creative solutions to those problems. And so it's really hard to see because it's such a long time. I think that within now and a year, there will be definitely some really good solutions to the inflation deflation problem, because
Mm.
that is what is first and foremost on everyone's mind at the moment. So
Mm.
people are looking for solutions to that. Um,
No, I
that's what I'm
agree.
seeing.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um, okay, that was a long one for me there. Um, let's also just state very clearly that if you pull things out of context, Defbrader, that things go wrong. There is no drug addiction going on here. Let's just be clear. There is no drug addiction going on here. Okay. DeFi in itself is addictive, right? That is something that's really it draws us. It brings stuff to the table, but it's a whole other level. Okay. Oh, well, now we're getting to the questions that are actually posted during this AMA. So I'm first going to look at the correct channel, but that doesn't really. Oh, well, there's Tahoe asking. Let's see if Tahoe is actually here. Well, not that I recognize. So I've seen the roadmap. What is the next major focus to get out in Q2? Oh, Tao is typing. Wait, maybe Tao? If you tell me what your Zoom name is, I can get you on.
I mean, next major focus definitely lending and borrowing. That's kind of like the cornerstone of the original plan. So that's something that we're going to focus on. This quarter for sure.
All right, yeah, that's clear. Okay, now the questions are coming in. Wapo asks, what are your plans with the AVAX from the NFT sale? Is this going to be a government vote?
Yeah, we should actually do that. I'm just thinking of some options that we can do. Obviously we don't really want to be degenerate with it. You know what I mean? It's not really something to go and like put in some like newly launched Toon Fork or something like that. You know what I mean? It's going to be more should we add to this LP like a AVAX USDC LP or something like that, or I mean there may be we'll put it to a vote, but it will work on some options, so to say, that we can put to a vote. So it's not just like an open-ended question.
Okay. Wait. Oh, people have been asking the questions in the wrong places, but thank you, Saint, for pointing that out. DGen Crypto is asking, how's the amount of return grapes? Yeah, but we already had that. For the monthly lottery. Oh, that's max 180 a year or 180Y. I'm not sure what that means. Anyway, for the monthly lottery, can somebody win more than one wine, or is it limited to one wine per holder? If it's a former, I'm not sure that's the fairest way of doing things, as it will massively favor the bigger players who have lots of nodes and probably lots of NFTs, thus increasing the number of entries they have significantly.
Well, with the monthly lottery, it's I guess it's separate from the nodes. It's more the amount of NFTs your wallet holds is the ticket, so to say. In other words, like it's like any raffle. You know what I mean? It's someone can buy 50,000 raffle tickets if they want. Obviously, they're going to have a higher chance of winning the raffle, but it's randomized in that we don't just select the person with the most amount of raffle tickets. You have a higher chance of winning if you get those, if you have that many raffle tickets. But it's the same as the raffle we have now as well. More Grape entered, the more chance to win, but everybody has a chance to win. So in other words, it's the more NFTs you hold, the more chance to win. But it's still randomized in that. And if you at least hold one NFT, you still have a chance to win. And there'll be 100 winners. So each winner will get one wine. So there's probably going to be a lot of people that even just hold one NFT that win the one wine anyway. So it's it's something that we'll adjust as well. Like, we'll work on it and see how it goes. And it doesn't have to be fixed, in other words, like our raffle as well. We're flexible. If we see something that doesn't really work, we can obviously change it to what may work better.
Cool. I think this has already really been answered in previous AMAs. But Atao asks, are there any plans on to make like a slot machine similar to Miniverse?
I mean, I like that. I like the slot machine. We're not really like, I don't really want to do sort of gambling stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's I mean, it's cool. I like it. I've used it. But that's like the miniverse. Their I guess their focus is the GameFi, is the gambling sort of sector, GameFi gaming sector essentially, which they've done really well. That's not really our focus, so to say. Like, we have some gamification, but we're not really a GameFi protocol, so to say. So probably not.
Yeah. That I'm having some trouble finding out what is questioned where, because people are just putting single sentences here and there. Anyway, I think here Antitomb asks, is it possible to give another utility use case for wine?
Yeah, well, when we do lending and borrowing, you'll be able to post that as collateral. That's kind of like, I guess, the main use case for that. Obviously, the other use case is seniorage rights on Grape expansion. That's like the main use case for all the shares of seniorage protocols. But yeah, when we do the lending and borrowing, there'll also be post your wine as collateral. Let's look at some other things as well. I have to keep an eye, like, always something to think about, really.
Yeah, I think we definitely do that. Keeping an eye on new use cases, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in terms of utilizing the NFT, will we just need to hold it to get the benefits? Like, is it airdropped if is the grape airdropped, or do we need to stake stuff somewhere, or how do you use the NFTs?
Yeah. You just hold it. That's essentially it. If you post them to sale on NFT trade, you are not holding them. That's a point to maybe people don't realize. The NFT marketplace would hold them then. So if you've posted it for sale, then you don't hold it. So you wouldn't be eligible for the airdrop. Yeah, you just need to hold in your wallet. It's nice and simple.
All right, and you say you wouldn't be eligible for the airdrop. Like, can you give investors an idea of how many times such airdrops will happen, once a day, or what's going to happen with that? Like, how will they get their grape?
Yeah, for the NFT reward pool, it will be monthly. I'm thinking this first month though, because there's obviously a lot of grape in there. We may actually stagger it out to sort of like not have such a large amount of grape released on one day, so to say. So um, I will be building like a little dashboard to like keep track of you know amounts in the reward pool and technically like your share of the reward pool, and some more details on the nodes and stuff like that, like your nodes and whatnot. So um the uh yeah so I'm actually thinking of, for this first month, we'll probably do an airdrop a little bit more, like stagger it out over a week, or stagger it out maybe do one fortnightly for the first month, and then ongoing it may be monthly. So this is something that is, because it is an airdrop, it is very flexible to do. And we do want to incentivize I guess people to hold the NFTs as well. to continue to create the nodes so that they can get more share of that pool. But it obviously helps if it's all tracked on like a dashboard for people to see. So that's something that we're going to like focus on first.
Yeah, and then I reckon it would be if people actually want to sell their NFT or put it up for sale, then they should just, keep track of the tracker, so to speak. Like if they aren't able to sell their NFT in the time where there is no airdrop, then they have time to actually take it off sale to receive the
Yeah, yeah,
airdrop
yeah,
again, right?
yeah,
Sort of
yeah.
like that, so that people can just take their moments, use their windows, so that it's not the NFT market that gets a lot of grape, even though, they're welcome to it, but still, it would be
Well,
a
yeah,
shame for
we'll
the holder.
probably yeah, they'll probably we'll do it in a way where that contract is excluded from the airdrop. So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice to be thinking of stuff like that. First is WAPO again. They say, can the expansion rate be modified to accommodate pack when appropriate? Example, if we stay over 2 to 1, so that's zone one, for a month, can we raise expansion since market demand can handle it?
Yeah, yeah, we can. That's something that is adjusted. Uh, I haven't adjusted it recently, but it's something that can be adjusted reasonably easily. And yeah, the reason it's kind of low is because we were at peg below peg, so as we need to keep it a little bit low so that when we get above peg, it doesn't just like result in some crazy expansion rate, which then results in a dump below peg again. So now that we are above where I've been for the last week, I may raise it slightly. We'll see how we go. And this is something that's can be changed reasonably easily. So yeah.
All right, cool. Then Saint pointed out a few more questions. I think of those 1 and 2 have been answered. It's by Sacomano. And the third one, though, is will there be a graphic or sheet of the share pool chart with last numbers of every wallet that own nets?
Graphic.
Yeah, a graphic or sheet of the share pool chart.
Well, I mean, I guess as I said before, we'll do like a dashboard to like show total shares, your share, your number of nodes, total number of nodes, things like that. There'll be like a I guess analytics dashboard, so to say.
Wepo is asking a lot of questions, so I'm gonna ask them if they want the mic, because then they can ask them themselves. What's your Zoom name, Wapo? Because then I'll just give you the mic. At the same time, though, I'm gonna. Oh, okay. That Hill says I'll comment later, but that's basically my last question. All right. Can Grape be sent directly to the Treasury address?
Oh, like the DAO
Um,
address. Is that
right.
what you mean? I mean, oh, you mean
Yeah,
the
I'm
Treasury
not that sure.
contract address? I mean, I guess probably don't send it to the Treasury contract address.
No. As to
Um,
boost protocol owned liquidity if someone so chooses. Okay, so the question is, can you send Grape to the address that is actually holding Grape, like to the DAO address, so that you can personally boost protocol owned liquidity?
I mean, if you want to donate Grape to the DAO, that's obviously like the DAO is just a normal wallet address. So yeah, it can accept Grape. I mean, you don't have to do that. You can you can add to the LP if you want to, so that you can earn the yields. But if you want to donate some, sure. That's the DAO can. It's just a normal wallet.
Awesome. So that's just possible. Like you can just donate that. Thank you. By the way, if you do that,
Yeah.
cool. Definitely. um, Crypto Daddy asks, since each NFT has a different multiplier, does making the nodes benefit NFT holders? Yes, it does, but maybe you can expand a little bit on that, LB.
Yeah, so the amount of nodes you have as well also adds to that. So and this is for the NFT reward pool. So your share of that NFT reward pool is determined by, the NFT tier you hold, the amount of NFTs you hold, and the amount of nodes you hold as well. So they all sort of kind of work together uh to if you want a higher share of that pool, you need, I guess, more nodes as well, in order to get a higher share.
Yeah. And then I think it's going to be the last question. No, wait, there was one more which was posted by Defparator. So I'm going to do the two more questions, one by Defparator in the AMA weekly questions, which is not the place Defparator, and then the other one. So Heypa asks like updates on the Liquid Capital project. Will there be perks for NFT holders, or maybe reduced fees, when mint, etc.?
uh well, yeah, more updates on liquid capital will be coming soon. Right now it's more just it's more for partners. At the moment it's more like a gathering partners, different protocols to sort of get ready for the sale. So yeah, so right now it's not even open to a
General
community,
public.
really. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It's so more details will come as that comes in the next like couple of weeks. I don't know if there'll be perks for NFT holders. Maybe we do some sort of we'll figure something out, I guess. We'll think about that, yeah, because it's
Well,
technically a different project,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
this
yeah.
is interesting to see. Like Liquid Capital is definitely it's a different protocol. However, when they're in because of the way Liquid Capital launches, there will be some of um, some of the buy-ins, or at least a percentage of that, will be allocated to the Grape to Grape Finance itself to do helpful things with for the protocol. And this percentage, of course, we can do stuff with. So
Mm,
maybe then we
yeah.
can create something for NFT holders or whatever. That's just something that we still need to think on. Um, uh, but it's a good suggestion, right?
Mm,
I would say.
yeah.
And then the last one is from Defparator, and they're asking, are there any plans to create an automated raffle smart contract? Do you wanna code it, Defparator?
Yeah, yeah. I'll if you want to do it, we'll buy it from you. But yeah, I guess it's on the list, but like, there's so many things on the list.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So you hear it, Defparator. Just start coding on it, and we're interested.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that kind of settles it. Oh, he'll start slapping his hat on the keyboard.
Uh,
Go for it, man. Go for it. Yeah, that kind of settles the AMA for today. We had a buttload of questions. We had a lot of people answering. So yeah, it's awesome to see so many people here again. And I'm not going to answer that. Um, and it was beautiful to have this AMA again. And well, just everyone, uh, just keep on being kind to each other and explaining stuff to each other and asking a lot of questions and suggestions, and we'll take everything seriously, um, as much as it needs to be taken serious. And yeah, we're just up for a bright future. So stay tuned next week again, right? Um,
yeah.
Thank you so much. Anything else to
Yeah.
add, LB?
Well, I guess thanks everyone for the support this week. It's been pretty crazy. The NFTs like that's sold out very quick. I wasn't really expecting that much impact. Yeah, everyone, thanks so much for your support. Thanks for being so involved as well. I've seen a lot of different suggestions this week, which have been really good. A lot of things to implement. I got to get to work. A lot of things to do, but that's good. It's good. We want to improve the protocol as much as possible, and it's good that people give you feedback because then it kind of makes it easier. In other words, the people using the protocol uh tell you what they want, so that's kind of like you don't have to think about what we should implement, so to say, as much.
Definitely. And there's one last thing I just want to add, like with all the new things, it's almost hard to look at the old ones, even though they're only months ago. But just have a look at our strategies that have been in place for a long, long time, with the Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3 strategies. And just realize, please, that if you've held to those strategies and have been carefully selling in Zone 1, and then just compounding in Zone 2 and Zone 3, the way that strategies told you, then right now you'd be in a very, very good place.
Mm.
So, like it's sometimes it's difficult to get through. Well, the below pack times, the lower times, so to speak, the crypto winters. Um, but that's the whole thing about a strategy. If you just stick to it, it will work out for you in the long run. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, there is well, the strategies are on the page, and we also have Zone 1, at least explained by me on the videos. So just have a look at that and see it for what it is. Now with the notes, there will be more strategies. Dave has just posted one as well. So there's a node strategy, and we're continuing to put them out as much we can, as soon as we can as well. There's a limit to the amount of time we have in a day, but we're trying. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, and see you next week. Bye all.
Thanks, everyone.